All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about something in Active Directory that's super powerful, but honestly, a lot of people just overlook it. We're talking about its physical topology. Using sites, subnets, and site links to finally take control of how your network is physically laid out. And trust me, getting this right can make a huge difference in speed and efficiency. So let's get to it.
So let me just ask you this, especially if you're juggling multiple offices. Do you ever get those complaints from your branch office users? You know the ones. My login is taking forever. Or, why is it so slow to open a file? If that rings a bell, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. And there's a really good reason this stuff happens.
Okay, so here's the deal. Out of the box, Active Directory is kind of blind. It has no idea about geography. It doesn't know that your main office and your branch office are connected by this, maybe slow, maybe expensive WAN link. So it just treats that connection like it's the same as a super fast cable between two servers sitting right next to each other. And the result? It's just chaos. You get all this unnecessary traffic just flooding that critical link, and everything grinds to a halt for your remote users.
But what if you could just give Active Directory a map? What if you could actually teach it about your physical network layout? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. You're about to become the official map maker for your digital world, and it all starts with two really simple concepts.
First up, we have the idea of a site. A site is really just a physical location, like an office building or a whole campus, where all the computers are hooked up on a fast, reliable network. Just think of each site as a major city on your network map.
So, if a site is a city, how does a computer know which city it's in? Well, that's where the subnet comes in. A subnet is just the range of IP addresses that basically draws the borders for that site. It's the zip code for your network city. So when a computer grabs an IP address, Active Directory just checks its subnet and instantly knows which site or which city it belongs to.
And building this map? It's surprisingly easy. You just create a new site object, let's say for your branch office. Then you create a new subnet object with the IP range for that office. And the last step? You just link them together. That's it. You've literally just put your branch office on the Active Directory map.
Okay, so now that Active Directory has this map, it can get way smarter about how it moves data around. It stops treating every data delivery the same and starts thinking more like a logistics company, right? It knows the difference between a quick local delivery and scheduled long-haul shipping.
And this is where we see a huge difference in how data actually moves. Inside a single site, think of our local city. Replication is like a local courier. It's fast, it's frequent, it just sends the data, uncompressed, boom, as soon as a change happens. But when you're talking about going between sites over that slower WAN link, well, it completely changes its strategy. It becomes more like scheduled freight shipping. The data gets compressed, it's all bundled up, and it's only sent out on a schedule. Why? All to save that precious bandwidth.
Now, to manage all this freight shipping, Active Directory is smart enough to automatically pick a specific server in each site to be the Bridgehead server. This server basically acts as the official mail sorting hub. So instead of every single server in one office trying to talk to every server in the other office, which would be a mess, all that inter-site traffic flows cleanly through these two designated bridgeheads. It creates a single, super efficient point of contact.
Now, this is where you get to take the driver's seat. By defining this map, you've essentially become the network's logistics manager. You now have the power to define exactly how, when, and even where that long-haul traffic moves between all your different sites.
Okay, now here's the first thing you really need to wrap your head around. And honestly, this one's a shocker for a lot of people. By default, that freight shipping between your sites, it only happens once every 180 minutes. Yeah, you heard me. That's 3 hours. Just think about that. That single number could be the entire reason your branch office users are pulling their hair out.
And that brings us to a really crucial question for your business. Is a 3-hour data delay okay? I mean, if you create a new user account at the main office, is it acceptable for that person to have to wait up to 3 hours before they can log in at the branch office? For most places, the answer is a hard no. And this is exactly why you need to take control. So your first lever of control is what's called the site link interval. This setting lets you change that 180-minute default. You get to decide how often those freight trucks leave the station. You can set it way lower for well-connected sites, or maybe keep it high for really slow links, tuning it perfectly to what your business actually needs and what your network can handle.
And the best part is, you don't have to guess. Here are some really solid, practical recommendations for a branch in a city nearby with a good connection. Something like 30 to 60 minutes makes a lot of sense. But for that really remote branch with a slow and expensive satellite link, yeah, you might want to stick with that 180-minute default or maybe even bump it up. Your second lever of control is the site link cost. Now, if you have more than one way for data to get between your sites, the cost tells Active Directory which path to take. It's just like booking a flight, right? You'd almost always pick the cheaper, direct flight over a pricey one with a bunch of layovers. It's the same idea here. A lower cost number means it's the better preferred route.
So, what happens when you put all this together? When you map your sites, you understand the different kinds of replication, and you tune your site links just right. Well, you take your network traffic from a state of total chaos, and you turn it into a model of controlled, orderly, and efficient communication.
And the payoff here is huge. Your precious WAN bandwidth is saved because all that data is compressed and sent on a smart schedule. Your users get way faster logons because they're authenticating to a local server. Replication becomes efficient, it becomes predictable. And what does all this add up to? Better performance for all your applications and, most importantly, a much happier, more productive team at your branch office.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Your network isn't just some logical diagram on a screen. It exists in the real, physical world, with buildings and cities and actual distances between them. So isn't it time your Active Directory finally knew that too?